Good morning this morning. My name is Rochelle Mosley, and this is Shit Ain't the Same. How many times do y'all go through things and talking about things and you're with your friends and you're like, you know what, shit just ain't the same. So I had to invite my good friend, Bevy Smith, to talk about all the shit that ain't the same. Because I read her book. She don't even know this, but I read your book 3 times.
Oh my God, I
No,
love that.
3 times. 3 times. Bevy, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. I love what you're doing, and so I was just so happy to be here. You know, I love a girl that can pivot.
Yeah.
I love a girl that can pivot. Yeah.
Well, I learned a lot about pivoting in your book as well.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Bevelations.
Yeah.
How did you even come up with that?
Well, the title is so interesting. Bevelations is, I worked with Andy Cohen for many years. I had a show on Bravo called Fashion Queens. I have a radio show on his channel on Sirius XM, Radio Andy, called Bevelations.
Right.
And it came from the fact that Andy Cohen cast me for a pilot many years ago, probably 12, 13 years ago. And it was a show called Fashionality. And it was supposed to be like Bethany Frankel, Nene, a bunch of people on a show talking about fashion. And when I got on the panel, this is like when I first really started doing TV. So when I got to the panel, all these women were there with these big personalities. And I have a big personality too, but I had decided that I did not want to show up on television as like the big boisterous black lady.
Not Big Bevy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I was like, I didn't want to, you know what I mean? I didn't want to give that energy. I wanted to be a little more poised and together, and I didn't want to get into screaming matches to make my point heard. So we're on this panel, and I'm real quiet about it. Like, I'm making my points, but I'm letting people finish theirs. And like when you watch panels, a lot of times people, they go at it, right?
Right.
And then maybe it's not a fight or combative, but it's definitely boisterous.
Right.
I didn't want to do it. Right. So when the taping is done, he's like, I think, you were good, but I think maybe we should pull you out and give you your own segment. I said, oh. And he said, yeah, I think a good name for it would be Bevelations.
Talk about a good pivot.
Talk about a good pivot. And so he gave me this little standalone little segment. The show didn't go, it didn't get picked up. But I love the name so much. So when Andy suggested it and it didn't go, I said, well, I'm going to trademark that. And I'm going to keep that in my back pocket. And that's what I did.
I love that.
That's how Bevelations came about. So to everybody, and where's my camera?
That's right.
To everybody out there, when you have a good idea for a name or something, trademark it. Because people will come behind your back and try and trademark your own stuff, including your name. It's horrible out here.
It's terrible. It's
terrible.
It's terrible. But being that we on pivots, right? I know that you left Rolling Stone and you left Vibe.
Yes.
What was that like? The fear
Yeah.
of leaving a check.
Yeah.
Because we know a girl about a check.
Yeah, girls about a check. You know what's so interesting about that, Rochelle? And I just talked to somebody about it. Like, I'm from the hood. I'm from 150th Street and 8th Avenue. So I grew up with people all around me making a way out of no way. Right. So when I quit Vibe, it was literally to go to Rolling Stone. So the fear that I had of leaving Vibe was more about leaving my family. Because Vibe was like a family. Vibe was this wonderful black, fabulous. It was the epitome of black excellence. We had everyone from folks that went to Howard to folks that graduated from Harvard. We had, we were that shit. You know what I mean? Like Source was like for hardcore, gritty hip hop. They had all the other magazines, but Vibe was the one that you looked at for high end fashion, for luxury, for fabulosity. We were doing the things and the things. We were going to Milan and Paris, and we had a tribe. We had a crew, and it was strong. So to leave there, I wasn't afraid about the money because I was going to Rolling Stone to make more money. Right. I was worried about leaving family and not having that anymore. But what I found is that if you're really family with folks, family transcends a job. You don't have to see somebody every day to be family.
Exactly.
So I wasn't afraid about that. And leaving Rolling Stone, I wasn't afraid to leave Rolling Stone either because I had already been so successful in all of my various endeavors, that I figured that I was leaving Rolling Stone to pursue this life that I actually have now. And I just knew I would be successful. So I was not afraid at all. I was actually kind of foolhardy, which is why, you know, in the book, there's that whole broke but blissful chapter where I'm broke from 40 to 45, which is probably some of the worst years you could ever be broke.
100%.
Okay?
100%.
Because you're good and grown and broke.
Yeah.
Okay?
I was just thinking about you. It took you about 6 years.
7 years, which is the number of completion in the Bible.
7 years. 7 years that you were on a road to doing something different.
Yeah.
On a road to making sure that this pivot happened for you.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could have had the patience.
Well, I think people say that, but if you really believe in yourself, and if you already have been very successful at something, and then that something is no longer satisfactory, what are you to do?
Right.
Are you supposed to just sit there, make a lot of money, and be miserable?
Right.
And I tell people this all the time. Money is a tool, but money is never the cure.
The cure.
Money is a tool.
Right.
But like, you know, so it was never enough to make good money and just sit up there and be miserable.
Right.
So I had to do it and I had to stick to it. And then also too, the reason why the chapter is called Broke but Blissful is because even though I was broke, I was so happy doing all the things I was doing. You know, I was doing TV. That's when people first saw me on TV, doing BET and VH1 and E's Fabulous Life of. And I was writing for Glamour and Essence and Paper Magazine and Interview Magazine. I literally wrote Rihanna's first ever cover story for Paper Magazine. So I was doing all these fabulous things. I just wasn't getting no money. Okay, I was just getting, you know, it was scraps. So, you know, at Rolling Stone, I'm like at $350,000, and this is in 2005. Wow. So $350,000 in 2005 is okay. That's money. Yeah. And so the go from that to probably going down to probably making about $35,000 in my new life was definitely arduous. It was definitely a challenge. But it was more of a challenge because, like, I had to, you know, go to housing court. You know what I mean? Because I was going to be evicted. Even though I was never going to be evicted. You know, New York City.
Yeah, how New York City go. Yeah.
You know how we work. We going to work that. We're going to work that out. We're going to work that out. You know what I mean? Like, just give me a little time. I'm going to work it out with you.
Exactly.
But I'll never forget, I lived on Amsterdam Avenue, and on the corner was a barbershop. And, you know, they used to see me coming and going, all flying my furs and the town cars, because this is way before Uber and all that. So, you know, your town cars, you know, you dipping into doing it and everything. And I'll never forget when I, like, quit my job, and, like, in 2 years, the money ran out. And then I had to start taking the bus. And the bus is on Amsterdam. Yeah. So they would see me, instead of getting out my apartment.
They see you getting off the bus.
Okay.
You get off the bus.
Getting on the bus, getting off the bus. So one day the owner called me over and was like, "Hey, I just want to check on you. You all right?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm good." He's like, "You sure? Because I see you taking the bus." I was like, "Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. I quit my job and I'm like broke and everything, but I'm good. I'm good." He looked at me like I had like three heads.
Yeah. Because people don't understand that concept.
They don't understand that concept.
They don't. I mean, Bevy, it took me, I know I'm going to say 25 years to take a Saturday off.
What?
A Saturday off. That's why I said, this is what I want to do. I'm not in a salon. This is the pivot for me.
Yes.
And the thing that my videographer told me when I started is, he said, "Ro, don't quit.
Don't.
Keep going. Keep going."
But that's why it was important for me to come and do this with you, because I want to encourage you.
Yes.
And we've been on live before, and we've had amazing conversations. So I knew it was going to be more of the same, but I've always admired you. I remember when you came up from Virginia.
Yep.
And I remember how amazing you were and how you really just kind of cemented yourself into the Harlem culture. And now you, Salon 804 in Rochelle, you are Harlem. And I always admired your tenacity. I always admired your, like, grace. I've always admired how beautiful you are inside and out. So, I wanted to come and support you for sure.
I'm so happy. So that's why I'm here, because I was like, I got to start taking these Saturdays off. I want to start doing the things that really make me happy.
Yeah.
Some things that really, really feed my soul.
Yes.
So that's why, even before I read it again, well, because, you know, I like the audiobooks. So I listened to it again for the third time.
Wow.
Last week. And it was just so many things I just felt like I missed. And especially that story about when you were in Milan.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, what was that breakthrough about? Like, how did you even come to that?
So I was 33 years old, and I had just arrived in Milan for Men's Fashion Week. It was a winter, and I pull up, to Malpensa Airport. My driver is there to greet me, my regular driver. I had a regular driver in Milan. That's how fly I was. And Giovanni, and he's gorgeous. And I get into the Mercedes sedan, and the mink falls off the shoulders. It's like a full movie. I get to the hotel, which is the first original luxury hotel in Milan. And all the staff knows me, and they're lined up to greet me. They bring me up to my usual suite, which is a corner suite, buttercup yellow, frette sheets, all the things. They open the door. It's all the gifts from Versace and Armani and Missoni and all the things.
Everybody.
These are gifts for me. I'm from 150th Street and 8th Avenue. Okay? And this is what I'm doing. Okay?
Exactly.
And this is back before all the black celebrities were going to Fashion Week.
Right.
This is I was 33. So I guess this was like late 90s, early 2000s. So I need people to understand, like this was, me and Emil Wilbekin at Vibe Magazine, we were doing the prototype work.
Right.
Okay, fine. So I get there, all the gifts. But as soon as that butler leaves, I just collapse in tears. Because I'm like, this cannot be my life. I am miserable in this. And that's a difficult thing, Rochelle, because, and I know you'll relate to this. So I know that you'll understand this, because you've worked so hard to create this very successful business, Salon 804, to establish yourself in the community and to be a pillar in the community. And now you then woke up and like, this is nice. And it was, once upon a time, it was my dream, but it is no longer my dream.
Right.
And that's what happened with me. So when I get to that room, and by the way, I've been working in fashion since I was 18 years old. I'm 33 at this point. So it's taken me 15 years to get to this height. And now that I'm here, I'm miserable. I couldn't believe it. I said, what is a girl to do? So I just sat there, I cried. I knew I couldn't call anyone because the time difference, and I knew people would be freaked out if I'm calling them at that time of the night. And I sat there and I was like, this can't be my life. And I decided I was going to change my life.
Wow.
And I started by just changing my name. My name was, and I still have my Vibe business card. It says Beverly Smith. And I changed it to Bevy. And that was the first thing I did. The second thing I did was I decided that I would no longer allow people to introduce me as Beverly from Vibe. Because I said one day I won't be at Vibe. I need to start and create my own brand identity within a larger brand. So that's something that I teach a lot about. Even if you're in a company, you can't allow them to own your brand. You have your own personal brand. They have theirs, you have yours. You can't be Rochelle from Coca-Cola. Now, you could be Rochelle from Salon 804 because that's yours. That got your blood all over it. But if you were working for some outside entity,
Right.
if you were a Shea Moisture ambassador, you couldn't be Rochelle from Shea Moisture for what? You don't own that. Chicken today, forever tomorrow. They could throw you out anytime they want. So these are things that I intuitively understood. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to carve out this new path for myself. I'm 33 when that happens, that epiphany. I don't move on that epiphany until I'm 38. Took 5 years to figure out what I wanted to do. Because I didn't know I wanted to do these things I'm doing now. I had to do the work. I had to really dig deep. The Red Soul proposition.
Yeah.
Who are you at your core? How are you being perceived? How would you like to be perceived?
Right.
I came up with those questions. Those are questions I asked myself to create this new life. Well, no longer a new life. Well, shall it be 20 years on Valentine's Day, 2025, since I left Rolling Stone.
Wow.
And that's something.
I mean,
20 years.
I'm just getting goosebumps. It's just such a fantastic story. And I said the same thing when I closed my salon, when I closed my big salon. And I was so afraid. And I was so more afraid of what people were going to think.
Yes.
Oh, she ain't rocking like that no more.
Yeah.
She ain't got no money. She ain't got this. It was more about that than it was me really wanting to pivot into something else.
Yeah.
So when I got the spot that I have now in New York, a smaller spot, and then another spot in New Jersey, I was able to spend more time with my kids. I was able to travel more. I was able to see the world more. And I was like, oh, life is bigger than this shop.
Yeah.
It's bigger. And once I just started to see it, and I'm like, okay, so now what's next? for me.
Nice.
And just like you said, my father told me, Rochelle, Salon 804 is in you. You can take it anywhere you want to take it.
Anywhere you want.
Anywhere.
It's yours. You own it.
Yep. And when I made that decision, it was one of the best things I could have ever done.
It was liberating, right?
Very liberating.
Yeah.
Very liberating. And just like you said, you didn't want to leave your family at Vibe.
Yeah.
I felt like that when I wanted to close the shop. I don't want to like these people been here from the beginning. Like,
and they
these
depend
people
on
been
you.
with me, and they depend on me, and they to turn the key in the door, to make sure the lights is on, to make sure they making their money, and then they were looking at me to guide them, but I didn't know how.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know how. I knew how to do my own thing.
You had to put on your oxygen mask first.
My own oxygen mask.
You had to. Because now you can give them so much more. Yeah. You're richer now, right?
Yeah.
Spiritually.
Yes.
And I bet probably financially you're doing better too.
Much better.
Okay.
Because all my money is not going out the door, because I had to make sure that money went out first before I could even think about my own.
Y'all be scared of y'all think it's all about scale and it's all about having the biggest thing. Luxury brands make more money doing smaller items and smaller production than big massive companies. Right. When you look at it, when you look at the workforce, when you look at the effort extended. So, a lot of times we confuse big with more money. But you can sell to a very small niche audience and make a lot of money.
Yes, yes.
Now you may not make as much money as the Walmart.
Right.
But do you need as much?
Do we?
I don't know.
Do we?
I don't.
Because everything is always about bigger and better. So I've just been thinking about, what about smaller and different?
Ooh, I love that. Smaller and different. Yeah.
And then because my thing is that I will prefer, because I've done both. I sold things for a lot of money, like haircuts, hairstyles, all the things for a lot of money, but it's a small amount of people. But if I bring the price down, then I can reach so many more people.
But then you got to do more work.
Well, not really.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
If you're servicing more people, that's the reason why I always for me, I don't mind going I go to, if I go to a salon, I'm going to go to a salon that's probably going to cost you more money. You know why? Because I don't want to be bothered with a lot of nonsense and mishigash, right? And I already know it's going to be a very polite, quiet experience, right?
Right.
They don't do as much, so they got to charge you more, right? And I'm okay with paying for the premium.
COVID, right?
Yeah, I'm okay with paying for the premium.
Yeah,
but you got to find the clients that are okay paying with the. But I always say, y'all sitting up here buying all this Louis Vuitton and Chanel and red bottoms and everything else. Y'all don't mind paying that premium.
Exactly. Nobody complain about that price.
Aldo got the exact same shoe. Aldo makes the best knockoffs ever. Go get it from Aldo. But you don't. You go and buy the real deal.
Exactly.
So you got to treat my business as a luxury too.
Right.
So I knew that off the grip that Bevy Smith was a luxury brand.
Right.
It's a luxury brand. Dinner with Bevy is very expensive. Right. To hire Bevy Smith to do something is very expensive. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to do too much.
It is okay.
I don't want to do too much.
You don't got to do a whole lot. Because if it was McDonald's price, then you'd be doing a whole lot.
Oh my God, I'd be working constantly nonstop. Try to make $1 out of 15 cents.
Oh, you're right.
But I learned that because, my business in fashion was all luxury. I never worked on mass fashion.
Right.
I only worked on Milan, Paris, Rome, London. And it was only the big designer brands I worked with.
Right.
So I learned that from them.
Right.
And that's even why in my book, it's the Red Soul proposition. That's named after Louboutin. And it was inspired by the fact that when we were coming up, what was the shoe that you had to have? It was Manolo Blahnik.
Manolo Blahniks, yeah. And they hurt my feet like hell, but I still had to have them.
And then all of a sudden, Louboutin comes out of seemingly nowhere. And who wearing Blahnik now? Everybody wear Louboutin.
Yeah, everybody wear Louboutin.
So I was like, I need to figure out what my Louboutin is, what my Red Soul is. And I figured it out.
That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
Figuring out what my Red Soul is.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
And also being okay with weeding out some people.
Oh, yeah.
Being okay with that. I struggle. I was struggling with that.
Yeah.
Because everybody want to go, can't go.
Oh, yeah. But a lot of times people don't even really want to go.
They act
How
like
about
they
them
do.
apples?
You know, they act like they do.
Yeah. But they don't want to go. Because people don't want to pay the price to go.
Mm-mm.
Because it's not free to go.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
It's going to cost you something.
Yeah, you're right.
To get on the road.
You're right.
And to go on the ride. And a lot of times people don't want to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So they weed themselves out. That's what I will tell you.
Yeah.
Don't worry about weeding them out. You don't even have time to expend energy on that. You do not have the time. Your time is valuable.
Very.
Yeah, let them do what they're gonna do.
Very.
They'll figure it out.
So now that I'm 50, right? Well, I'm 53 now.
Yes.
When you
good,
turn
growing
50,
sexy.
when we got so now we both in our 50s,
Yes.
right? So how the 50s treating you?
I love my 50s. You know, I was so blessed and fortunate that I had an amazing mother who was a prime example of it gets greater later. So when I distinctly remember this, when I was 12 years old, my mom was 50. Back then, that was unheard of. Right. I was born in 1966. Back then, women had children in their teens and in their 20s.
Yeah.
For my mother to be, you know, I guess, what was mom? 38 or something when I was born, 37? That was unheard of. So my mom is 50 when I'm 12. And most of my friends' parents were like in their 30s. But my mom was fabulous. She was fly. She was confident. She didn't play no reindeer games with nobody in the community. And she was very stush. People thought of her as being very stuck up. She would always be like, yeah, I don't want to be out there with those other ladies smoking reefers and wearing blue jeans. Like my mother was a very, you know what I mean?
So you got it honest.
I got it honest. My mother, if you came to my mom's house and she had on jeans, she would apologize.
Really?
Yes, to us, her children. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were coming. I look a mess. Mom, you're in your house. Oh, yeah, but Beverly, I mean, you know, if you had let me know you were coming, I would have put on some slacks and a sweater.
Oh.
Okay, girl.
Okay.
Okay, you know what I mean?
It. I love
yes.
it. I love
but so having a mother like that, who was never ashamed of her age, who never felt like the younger women in the community were like doing it more than her because they were younger.
Right.
She was always real good with who she was. And she did not look to other people to compare herself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you know, she never said it, but she led by example. You know, and I believe to this day, to compare is to despair. We cannot look at anyone else. I always say, don't look to the side of you. Don't look in the back of you. Look straight in the front and run your own race. Yeah. So that's what 50s have been for me. So I grew up knowing that age doesn't mean you have to be old and dumpy and frowsy and busted.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Also, too, nowadays, 50 is vastly different, you know, than it used to be. You know, and that's great. We have all this medical, you know, amazing opportunities. We have cosmetic opportunities. We don't have to, like, just let ourselves fall apart.
Exactly. I always say that.
Yeah.
And I always tell my clients, if you can walk, you can exercise. If you can walk, you can exercise. A lot of people, I want to mess up my hair. I don't want to do that. We are getting up in age.
Yes.
And
you don't want your knees to go out. You don't want your hips to go out. Yeah, it's not an option. Yeah, so I'm so glad that you said that. And for me, it's about wellness.
Yeah.
It's about wellness. It's not about the way I look. I always tell people, I know how to put myself together. So I don't care what size I am. I'm going to look nice.
Exactly.
So it's not about that. It's about the inner, you know what I mean? Like, Rochelle, you know, someone that we both know just went through a traumatic, like, brain situation where she had to have brain surgery. Beautiful woman. We have to make sure that we're getting ourselves checked out. Thank God that she was on top of it. So she was able to survive it. But so just because we look good, like everyone is always like, oh, I don't look my age. Look how good. Bitch, what's going on inside? Are you okay inside?
Yeah. I actually reached out to that young lady and told her I had a brain surgery as well. I don't know if you know that. I had a chronic ear infection. And an ear infection had infection all on the left side of my face. So it was an ear surgery that turned into a brain surgery because it started to make a hole in my skull. Yeah, it's about maybe 10 years ago, 15, maybe 12
Oh
years
my
ago.
God.
Yeah. Yeah. So I reached out to her. I told her, I said, do what the doctors tell you to do. Take your time.
Yeah.
Because me, I was trying to rush back and be curling some hair. And I couldn't even lift my head up off the pillow. Wow. Yeah, I did. I reached out to that young lady. I was like, yes, you got my blessing.
Yeah.
I've been through it.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
See? And see that entire time, you're beautiful, you're vivacious, you're looking good. No one would ever know.
Nobody ever know.
No one would ever know. So, I'm all about the tune up and everything. I'm on a wellness journey because in 2 years I'll be 60.
Yes.
So I'm super excited about my journey to 60. And I'm changing a lot of things.
What are the plans? Like, what's happening?
Well, it's everything from internal to external. So internally, I'm making sure that this system is working in here, right? Kidneys and liver and all that kind of stuff, right? Externally, I am I went to a dermatologist because I'm getting my dark circles eradicated, right? Because I have beautiful skin. But I have to wear makeup because of my dark circles. So I don't want to have to look like I'm looking at your face. Right. I'm like, yeah, I want.
No, I have the puffiness, and I'm a little dark under there as well. So I got a little concealer.
Yeah,
and I got a little,
Yeah, but I have really intense dark circles. Okay. So because it looks like you got a little bit of concealer, a dab. Yeah, I'll take a dab. I'll take a dab, bitch. Now we be needing a whole bucket to get these together. So that I'm going to the dermatologist for my hair.
Okay.
Because Malibu. So just start over in the book. I talk about Malibu Bevy.
Yes, yes.
That's who I want to show up at 60. Okay. So Malibu Bevy has natural hair.
Okay.
She's very fit. She has a home on the water.
Okay.
She has an incredible, well-hung lover. Yes, she does.
Do you know I love when you say that in the book? Because you say, oh, and my lover.
Yes, my lover. My lover, honey. Because even if he's my husband or whatever, he's going to be my lover. He's going to be my lover.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I love it.
And I'm speaking all these things into existence. Like I always, in the book, I say, like we wake up and we have our trainer come in. We do our training stuff. Then I go and eat by myself in a little breakfast nook that overlooks the ocean. That's where I do kind of my contemplation. Then I take my bath in my Balinese tub and I journal and I paint. I do that right now in Harlem. I paint every day and I journal every day in Harlem. So I'm already starting to institute Malibu Bevy moments into my current life. I'm not waiting for that.
I love this.
And then, we prepare a healthy meal. We have a deck on our kitchen. And, he grills the fish and the vegetables. And as the sun is going down, he's going down on me. It's amazing.
I love it.
Malibu Bevy. I got a full life up in here.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
And it's very, and you're
detailed.
Very detailed. You're very intentional.
Yes.
Like I have to do that because I read The Artist's Way as well.
Yes.
And yes.
Yes. The Artist's Way is to shake you up, won't it? Wake you up, shake you up. So good.
I recommend anybody to get The Artist's Way, Bevelations, and The Artist's Way.
It's a nice combo treat, right? It's a nice combo treat. Yeah,
it is. And I'm an audio girl because I am a person that I used to have a hard time listening. So the audio books help me
focus.
Help me focus and help me listen. A lot of people say they can't do audio books. I can't listen. I can't sit and listen. But you have no idea how much you get out of listening and taking notes.
Yeah.
I love it. I love a good lecture.
Yes, exactly. I love a good lecture. Exactly.
And that's how I feel, when I'm listening to my books.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, The Artist's Way is amazing. It helped me change my life. The 4 Agreements. There's just a few books.
And I was like, when I read that book, right, I know that, we hang out from time to time with, in other different friend groups. But every time I listened to that book, I just felt like this is a girl after my own heart. I mean, really, Bevy, it was a girl. I mean, I just felt like I told everybody in the shop, I said, y'all got to get this book. Y'all have to, if you don't read, then listen.
Yeah.
It was just a phenomenal book. I felt like you just hit it. Things that we think about, things that
Yes.
we're afraid to do,
Mhm.
things that we afraid to say.
Yes.
I felt like it was just right there in that book.
Thank you.
Everything.
Yeah, I tried to be really very vulnerable and honest about it.
You were.
You know, and it's so interesting, Rochelle, because I'm single, but I'm dating a lot. I'm dating vigorously. And it's interesting because now there's a book in the world about me.
Yeah.
So a man could literally buy my book and like he doesn't have to necessarily try to get to know me. He can read my book and get to know a lot of things about me, which can be a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
Now, fortunately, I've only met men that have been like, I don't want to read your book. I want to get to know you. And I feel like the book will tell me too much. And then I'll come in with preconceived notions. So I want to get to know you. And I'm like, thankfully, because, you know, but I mean, I can't do anything if a guy wants to read the book.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It is what it is.
Yeah.
And there's some really interesting things in there, but I'm honest about all the relationships.
Pure. I thought it was pure.
Yeah.
I felt like reading the book brought me closer to you.
Yeah.
Actually.
Thank
now
you.
I'll be like, hey, Bevy, what you doing? You want to go get some drinks?
Right. Exactly. It's like, well, that's the reason why the subtitle is Lessons from My Mother, Auntie, Bestie.
Yeah.
Mother is for my gay children. Auntie is for young people under 35. You over 35, don't call me auntie. Unless I'm literally you my brother's child or my sister's child. And then Bestie is for women like you.
Yeah.
It's for women that are grown and sexy and feel like, oh, I would like to go have a drink with Bevy. I'd like to go on a trip with Bevy. That's the community that I want.
Right.
That's the connectivity that I want. So I want to help the babies. My LGBTQIA plus community is near and dear to my heart. That's full stop. Exactly.
I love the kids.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my three constituencies that I really connect with. You know, and so even the name of the book, Lessons from My Mother, Auntie, Bestie, was intentional. I wanted to call those people in. I wanted to invite those people into my world. So it's all about intentionality.
So what kind of advice do you have for people when they say, oh, I want to write a book. I want to write a book about my life, right?
Okay, I'm going to tell you something.
Please.
It's hardcore. Okay. Yeah. I just had to do this with somebody.
Tell the people, please.
Okay. Now, I love everybody, but I'm going to tell you something. I was paid to write my book.
Okay.
Okay.
Period.
Drop the mic. Drop the mic. So the book sold one copy or tens of thousands of copies, which I'm glad it sold tens of thousands of copies.
Right.
But I got paid to write my book, which is a very nice space to live in.
100%.
Right? Because then you don't have to worry. Because when you self-publish, there's great risk, but there can also be great reward.
Right.
But you got to put a lot of money into self-publishing.
You do.
So the only way that you can get someone to pay you to write a book is that you have to be a person of note, that they feel like, oh, it's worth the gamble. We'll pay this person this amount of money because we believe that they'll sell books and we'll recoup our money back. Right. So you have to build up your brand. Excuse me. You don't have to be a celebrity or anything. You don't have to be on TV or anything. You could literally talk that shit. Schmidt ain't the same. Shit ain't the same.
Shit ain't the same.
So you could, and you build this up. You build your social media presence. And then all of a sudden, someone wants you to write a book.
Right.
And they give you a 6-figure advance.
Right.
Cute times. Or you can do it your way, which is, you can do it another way, which is self-publish. But to self-publish well takes tens of thousands of dollars to do it well. You need a very good editor. You need someone to set the book right. Yeah. You want someone who can design the cover. You want someone who can help you to promote the book. And these are all things that when they pay you to write the book, they do all of that.
They do all of that.
And then they give you a check.
Right.
Do you see what I mean? So, but if you want to self-publish, you can do it, but you got to have the money. So don't come up in here talking about you want to write a book and you got $10,000. Because it's probably not going to look great.
Right.
And we all know that the way people gravitate towards many books is based on a cover.
Right. 100%.
Based on the, way it looks. How many times have you been on 125th Street and they got a whole, kind of bunch of books on the thing and you like looking at the covers and you're like, I don't like the way that look.
I like that look.
And then sometimes you pick up a book and it looks like crap. Like, you think about Sister Soldier's Original book. Coldest winter ever, right?
Close, yeah, the winter ever, yeah.
Yeah.
Coldest winter ever.
Yeah. So it wasn't a good looking cover initially. But then, baby, everybody in the hood bought it.
They sure did.
And then all of a sudden, I mean, she made money hand over fist.
Yeah.
But she was also a notable, right? Sister Soldier was already a part of the community, and she was already popping. This is way before social media. But if she was on social media now, she had millions of followers because she was the girl. She is the girl still. But do you see what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
So I think it's if you have the money to self-publish, and you don't think that you can get a book deal, then self-publish. But you gotta have the money.
Right.
Don't do a cheap schlocky book with typos all over it, a crappy cover, cheap paper. You reading the book, the ink coming off on your fingers and all that.
Right. That's the same thing I tell people about my podcast. A lot of people see the podcast, but oh my God, it looks like you're in a great big old studio. No, I was in my house.
Yeah.
But I got a great videographer that he really cares about the lighting. He cares, but it costs money.
It costs money.
It costs money. So I'm willing
This
to
is not just like your cousin who takes pictures at a birthday party trying to figure out how to shoot the video.
No. And when I started, I told my son, I said, oh, I thought I could just get my cell phone and just put it. That's what I thought people were doing. I didn't know what people were doing. Yeah. And he was like, no, Ma, you got to get this guy to do it.
He said, no, Ma.
You're going to have to spend some money. Ma, you're going to have to spend some money.
Right.
So, yeah, I do get it. Yeah. And a lot of people want other people to invest in them, but they don't want to invest in themselves.
Yeah. And listen, you could get picked up by Charlemagne's podcast company. You know what I mean? But you're investing in yourself now.
Right.
So that the big leagues will see you and then they'll be like, oh, okay. Or maybe you just keep doing it independently and keeping all the cash. It really depends. That's, one of the things I think for Black entrepreneurs is that we have to figure out what's right for us. Right. For us. We can't follow behind everybody else. Everybody's situation is different. Right. You know what I mean? Like for me, people always like, you don't want to do a podcast? And I say, for me, it's hard to do anything for free because I'm so used to people paying me to show up to things.
Right.
So it's very hard for me.
Right.
Also, I have enough of a presence that I can go and pitch people things.
Right.
And then people will give me a check.
Yeah. No, I get it.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, because someone just asked me, oh, you want to do a Substack together? I was like, well, what's that? So then I Googled it. I was like, oh, yeah, no, I don't know. I'm not doing a Substack.
What is it?
I don't know. It's like some kind of like a newsletter. But but they take part of the proceeds.
Oh.
And I already have a newsletter.
Yeah,
I already have, so I don't need. Why am I going to give them a percentage? Yeah. Substack need to give me some motherfucking money. Okay.
Exactly.
Exactly. But there's a lot to it, and I think Rochelle. So funny because my sister has her own business. I don't know if you know Miss Lolly's Kitchen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Named after my mom, and she cooks. Okay. She makes all these amazing cakes and all this kind of stuff. But I just did two things around Friendsgiving. I did a Shop with Google commercial.
Okay.
And they wanted me to do it with a chef because I have a lot of chef friends.
Yeah, because I saw you cooking or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I said, why don't we do it with my sister? She has her own business. And I think it'd be better because it's like my sister. It'll be more, heartwarming. And they were like, okay. And then we just did the Tamron Hall show together, again for Friendsgiving. So, it's just like the exposure of it all. She's starting this small business. She started this small business, but we're just trying to make sure that we get, as much traction as possible. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I also love hearing that you want to have Bevy's cookware and Bevy's.
Yes, dinner with Bevy. Yes.
And
yes.
That's a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Yeah, dinner with Bevy in a box. Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. You're right. Thank you. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm going to build a brand that makes money while I'm sleeping.
Right.
I need passive income.
Yes.
The dog can't just have to make money because everything I do right now, I make money by showing up.
Right.
Which is amazing. What a gift. You just, like Jay-Z said, my presence is the present. That's amazing. Yeah. But sometimes a bitch don't want to come outside.
Exactly.
And I still want to receive the check.
Exactly.
So,
me too.
okay,
Me too.
right.
That's where I'm at too.
Yeah, see?
I want to be on my balcony overlooking the water.
And you can do this from your beautiful balcony
Yes.
and write it off.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm talking
These
about.
are things that we're going to do.
So I want to ask you a question two questions before we leave. If I was looking in the dictionary, under what word would I see your face?
Ooh, vivacious. Yeah.
And why?
Well, because I think that when you see me, I'm exuberant. I think that when you see me, you see joy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that when you see me, you see confidence and you see authenticity. So I feel very vivacious. I feel very alive. I feel very passionate. And I think when I walk into a room, into a space, you kind of pick that up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I do. And how often do you say shit ain't the same? Like what happens and you be like, yo, shit ain't the same?
How often do I say shit ain't the same? You know, that's an interesting question because I really don't ruminate a lot on the past.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very much a forward-thinking person.
Mm-hmm.
And the other part of the reason why I think I don't really use that term as much is because I love all the errors that I've ever had. So I love, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I wish, in my 20s it was like this, shit ain't the same. All my errors were good. I'm like Taylor Swift in that regard. You know how she got the tour called Errors? I love all my errors. I love Big Bev from Uptown. I love MC Bevsky. I love Beverly Smith, fashion executive. I love Bevy Smith, TV personality and actress and all that kind of stuff. I love all these errors.
Okay.
So for me, that's why it gets greater later. It's not just something I say. It's a mantra. It's a passion. It's a lifestyle for me. Because I really do live my life fully in the present. Right. And I'm like, yes, and. In improv, it's yes, and. So I say yes to things, and then I leave and, because that's like the openness of it all, right? Because we don't know what the universe has in store for us. So I say yes to what the universe has shown me, and then I say and, because I don't know what else God has in store for me. So I welcome it all.
I love it. And I just want to say that I see your red soul.
Oh, thank you.
I do. I really do. Thank you,
Thank
Bevy.
you. I see your red soul too.
Thank you.
I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. You're just wonderful, and I'm so glad you're doing this. And I cannot wait to see what happens next. Because we already know it's going places. You just got to keep doing it.
Yeah, I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep doing it. I'm not going to
keep spending that money, honey.
Keep spending.
It's a good investment. Write it off, girl.
Yes.
And write all this stuff off.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
But keep going.
Thanks.
You inspire all of us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. This has been Shit Ain't the Same. I'm about to cry, child. I need some tissue. This has been Shit Ain't the Same. Till next time.